It's cold. Got a part. We're gonna see if it works. All right, well, we got our part straight from the rainforest. It's not ever really a good sign when everything comes in plastic bags. So, pop this old one off and see if
Oh, look at the light.
If it works right. Hilary got a new toy. She got a new light, new camera handle. She's very happy. All her stuff.
Helps you too.
It does. Makes me look like I'm not bouncing around.
I mean the light.
Oh, that too. All right. Ooh, don't lose that seal. That seal needs to. I'll pop it. It's a little cold. It's a little shrink up. Guys, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe. Maybe it looks right so far. Maybe. That's bigger. I don't think it's right. Will it fit? Nope. It is not correct.
Oh.
Well, I guess just have to buy an OE one from Polaris. Kind of ridiculous that Aftermarket can't get their stuff together and make a part for a 9-year-old ATV. So, all right, well, back to the drawing board. Well, we're here anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and change the battery out and check, see, maybe this has just been a voltage issue the whole time. We're gonna change that out, reset the factory TPS sensor, and we'll do some more testing from there if we need to. I don't care for those plastic clips either. All that to be able to pop this off and get down in there a little easier. Alright. Move that. Coolant reservoir overflow. Out the way. Alright. And yes, I'm aware there's a battery relocation kit available for this, but I don't want to spend $80 on it. So I'm just going to complain about changing the battery because it's free. One dead battery. Before we hook that up, I'm going to set the TPMS. Since I had it off. What's going on here? There we go. Well, I'm happy with that. 0.700. Make sure that our voltage sweeps. Yep. Okay. That's it. Put it all back together. Let's see what happens.
You can't go back in the house. You got in trouble for opening Christmas presents. I know it's after Christmas, but they're not for you. Oh, don't laugh.
Very attitudey dog today. She's cold-blooded. Alright, so maybe chasing multiple issues here, obviously. Dead battery was an issue. Throttle position sensor was out of adjustment. Those both are rectified. And now, it'll crank up. And idle sometimes, and sometimes it dies. So, I think I'm going to dig a little further. I'm going to test a few more components. And then I think possibly I have to do a compression check, fuel pressure check, and see if the valve lashes within spec. I don't know if I'd have to look. I haven't really messed with this motor yet. I don't know if this one's a manual lash adjustment or if it's hydraulic adjuster. So got some more diagnosing to do. So see what I can get done and go from there.
Diagnosis complete.
We're back. It's another day. So we did some stuff off camera. We know that we were getting a code for the throttle position sensor and couldn't get the right one without spending big bucks for one on through Polaris. So I adjusted it. The code went away. So everything seems fine. All right. So from there, I'm thinking, all right, am I chasing something I shouldn't be chasing? What does an engine need to run? Fuel, air, and spark. All right. We know it's got unrestricted air, so that's no big deal. We know it's got fuel and spark because it will run an idle, but is it getting enough fuel, and is there a problem with the spark? So this thing has a rev limiter function when it's in reverse. That's what this reverse override is for. So if you're in reverse gear and you want to go faster, you press and hold that, and that'll bypass the rev limiter that is engaged when it's in reverse. So I thought, all right, maybe it's possibly a problem with that. But before we go down that rabbit hole, let's do something a little simpler. Let's check our fuel situation. This has an electric fuel pump, and so what I did was hook the pressure gauge up in line here at this connection, and ran the fuel pressure test, and it was only about 28 to 30 psi. This machine specifies 58 psi plus or minus 2. Bingo, I think we've got our underlying problem found. I think it was a combination of a bunch of things. The battery going out didn't help the situation. It may have caused the fuel pump to work harder and therefore fail. As far as the throttle position sensor being out of spec, when it backfired through the intake because it went lean, it could have vibrated the throttle position sensor just enough to put it out of spec, and as far as the adjustment. So right now we got to get to the fuel pump. The fuel pump is up under there. You can't even see it. So this front fender assembly, Polaris calls it a cab, this has to come off to get to the top of the fuel tank to replace the fuel pump. The fuel pump is right about in here. So thankfully on this one, it's a two-piece front fender assembly up under here. We've got a center section that we can remove and then slide it back and get to our fuel pump. Polaris does not sell a replacement pump for this model. They sell it as a tank and pump assembly. High dollar, not spending it. So I got one off of Amazon. We'll see how well this one works. Hopefully it's not, one that you put in 3 weeks later it pukes, but we'll see. So Hilary's going to set you up on a time lapse to watch, and I'm going to pull this front end apart and get to the fuel pump. Okay, we now have access to our fuel pump. Forgot it's on this side on this one. So now gotta unhook our feed line, unhook our electrical, and then get this ring off and fish it out of there.
Just hang on, folks. We seem to be having some technical difficulties.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. Let us know if you like this kind of content, if you want to see more of just us doing general stuff and not just all about the big Jeep. Let us know if you want to see more Clover. And thanks for watching.